Welcome to my review of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Now, what we'll do is discuss non-spoilers, and then I'll give you big fair warning, and then get into spoiler territory, of which actually there's quite a few, so I don't want to touch on that just yet or give anything away at all. So, like I say, non-spoilers first, then we will get into spoilers after fair warning. Straight off the bat, really liked this film. Really liked this film. Chad Stahelski is, or was anyway, part of like a duo when they directed John Wick, the original. And then John Wick 2, kind of, for me anyway, it did fall kind of flat. It just didn't seem to have what the first one had. And obviously that left a lot of people thinking, well, maybe it's just because they weren't directing together, which, you know, could have made sense, of course. But this one absolutely really did just prove that Chad Stahelski does actually know what he's doing, and it wasn't a fluke with the first movie. This is a very good film. From start to finish, it is just balls to the wall action. So if you're a little bit like me, where you watched the second film and thought, oh, you know, this is definitely not in the same vein as the original, what's going on here, you'll appreciate this movie, but then also you'll appreciate this as a trilogy. Because what these three movies do very well when paired together is introduce a incredibly immersive world, and very detailed in how they've structured this. I'm not overly sure who came up with this lore of John Wick universe, but they need a raise because this is a fantastic world, fantastic universe. And like I say, if you didn't really like the second, watch the third and you'll actually have a new appreciation of the second film because of everything that it establishes, everything that it sets up, and how this third movie just ties it all together in a really neat little ribbon. It really does round out this in a very nice way. So Keanu Reeves, I mean, does this man ever age? Seriously? The stuff that this guy does, obviously he's got stuntmen, I'm aware of that, but he really just is an ageless actor, and he's such a joy to see back on the screen, and he is fantastic in this role. He plays to his strengths. If you've seen the first two, there's nothing standout here. He is absolutely just John Wick again. The fight choreography is just fantastic. It really is superb. Again, if you liked the first one, weren't overly keen on the second one, this third one, fight choreography is probably some of the best I've seen in a very long time. Halle Berry was good in it as Sophia, and her dogs were, again, fantastic. Laurence Fishburne and Ian McShane, again, really good actors. Great to see them in stuff. Ian McShane especially. And I'll touch on Laurence Fishburne more in spoilers. Well, I'll touch on it all in spoilers, actually. Now, there were some posters floating around for Jason Mantzoukas. He wasn't really anything involved that big. If you're going into this movie expecting him to have a fairly substantial role, he doesn't at all. It's not really a spoiler. I just feel that was kind of false advertisement, so I wanted to say that from the top. Lance Reddick as Charon, the concierge, is so good. I want to see this chap in more stuff. He's really great. And of course, we've seen it from some of the behind the scenes posters, but Marc Dacascos is great. He's really good in this. So that's about all we will kind of touch on, right, in the non-spoilers with respect to the cast. The story is what you'd expect, and there's not really much you can say in terms of non-spoilers about the story. I mean, it's just the world versus John Wick. Yes, there's a little bit more to it than that, and yes, a lot more happens, but that is basically it. We learn an awful lot more about this world. It really does open up the lore and the universe an awful lot more. And like I say, whoever invented this universe does need a raise. So, on a technical basis, this film nails it. I had this when I was watching the intro credits. This is like a brand new wave of James Bond, and And I get that feeling just from the opening credits, because they have a very stylistic opening credits, which is synonymous with John Wick. And it's kind of similar-ish to how James Bond had their, stylized intros. John Wick is definitely James Bond for a new era, but, a little bit more of a badass. John Wick was fantastic. The fight choreography will leave you stunned. The score, or lack thereof, was interesting. I don't know it entirely worked. There were some moments where there were some intense fight scenes where I feel like a score could have benefited it, but I don't begrudge the fact that they didn't have one. I just don't think it worked all the time. But I will say this: when the score did kick in universe, there was some music playing in certain fight scenes. Great, genuinely, really, really, really good. Dogs. Yeah, they're a standout in this, as always. Of course they are. It's John Wick. We expect dogs in John Wick. Now, I can't really say much else in non-spoilers, because, it's a John Wick film. You know what you're getting going into it. It's more action than the second one. If you didn't like the second one, you will like this movie. And you will then appreciate the second one more. That's the best thing that I can say in non-spoilers about this film. Go out and watch it. It's well worth the price of admission. I do not begrudge paying for it. I really, really enjoyed myself, and I think you will too. Go show support for Keanu Reeves, the ageless actor. And that out of the way, let's talk spoilers. So you've been warned. I'll give you a second to, if you're across the room, you can run across the room, switch this off. Spoilers warning. He's not dead. So there's going to be a fourth one, but I know to everyone that's going to groan at this, I can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. What this sets up for a fourth movie is going to be so good. Really, really good. So the main story to all of this is obviously John Wick is excommunicado. As he goes through his business trying to defeat all of these assassins, which is a part of the film, but it's not a major part of the film, we then get the Continental being desecrated or de-esecrated. I can't even remember what the phrase was that they used, but basically they excommunicado the Continental and Winston, so Ian McShane's character, which is all a big ploy by Winston, Ian McShane, to get back under the table, as it were, under the high table. So he works with John Wick and then double crosses John Wick, and you think it could be the end of the film because John Wick takes quite a gigantic fall off of a huge building, but he's still alive, and he then gets taken to Laurence Fishburne, who has been sliced and diced. Looking really worse for wear. And that sets up the fourth film. Now, Halle Berry's character, Sophia, is barely in this. What she was in this was fine. I think if they had her in this more, it wouldn't have been so good. So I'm glad they didn't. There was a few shots which made it look like Halle Berry's character was in the Continental. She doesn't go anywhere near the Continental. She has her own Continental, which was quite interesting to see. Marc Dacascos was just fantastic in this. I want to see more Marc Dacascos. Seriously, he was very, very good. Very witty in parts as well, actually. This film was funny, but in all the best ways. I really, really liked this film. I honestly, I don't begrudge that they're continuing it. There was some kind of teasers here and there. Keanu Reeves did say, if they want to make more, I'm happy to make more. So I don't begrudge that they're going to make more. If they make more. They've set it up. I would like them to make another one. This, to me, is like what James Bond, could be. Just absolutely badass. Or I guess what James Bond is for people back when it was originally released. I really like this film. I think you will too. I think you should go out and watch it. Guys, if you have, please do let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, if you are new here, please do hit subscribe, and to stay up to date on the world of pop culture and movie news, crush the bell notification icon. As always, thanks so much for watching. I've been Mr. H. Take care.